Okay, here's what I'm up to. I'm going to have 2 rotors on this thing, 8 magnets in each, 8 trigger magnets for a Hall effect if I use the Hall effect, and about 2 or 3 coats of epoxy to stiffen the rotors because I had problems. The rotors were bending from the strong magnets. And this is the stator plate I just built. It's going to have 8 coils in there. Here's the inner rotor. Spins very nice. I got spacers on it. Also, I put I drilled into the end of the motor shaft and put a threaded rod out because I'm going to put this on there like this. And you notice this this is my new way to do things. See that? And so it's north inside this way, north inside that way. So it's going to make AC by pounding one side of the coil and then the other side of the coil. And the reason I like it is when I did this, it just really spun smooth. So I'm going to take advantage of this with this idea here. The coils are going to be like this. Let's see if you can see this. It's going to have 2 cores, not very big ones. Out of this core material I got it micro metal. It's only going to be pretty small, like inside these sewing machine bobbins. The cores will be about as thick as this pencil, a little bit less. So the way it's going to work is you wind around this half of the core, left hand rule, and you wind the other half, right hand rule. And there's an air gap in between. Because when this gets induced by the magnet coming by, I want the wires, the windings, to induce opposite polarity on the other side. So it's going to be left hand rule, right hand rule. So there's going to be magnets coming by here, and there's going to be magnets coming by here. Okay. So this is my brilliant idea. If anybody thinks it's dumb, let me know in comments. And so what's going to happen in the perfect world is the core here is induced. Let's say this is north facing inward. It's going to be induced south. Okay, and then the other end of the core will be north. You know, because if this is north here, then when you have a piece of core material, it's going to be south on this end and north on the other end. Now, let's say this was a long core, just one piece core, one piece wind. It'll induce here, south, and the other end will be north. But I have north facing magnets inward, north facing magnets inward in this configuration to make AC. So, like I was saying, in a perfect world, what's going to happen is it's going to go by, make this north, but I split the core in half with an air gap in middle, so the core here will be the opposite of this core. So if this is south, and then it would be north inward. And so now it's going to be south, north inward, and south here. I may have flipped that around, but the whole idea is this core here. This core is going to be one polarity. This core is going to be another polarity. And if this was big long core, instead of okay, again, one more time. If this was north inward, the core full length will be south here and north down here, okay? And so this is north inward because I have north inward, north inward, north inward, north inward, okay? So if this had a long core that was not split, just a typical core, and windings around it, it'll be south up here because the magnet is north facing, and it'll be north down here because that's the way it is. And so what happens is when this approaches this core that's been magnetized with a north down here, we have a north against north situation, and it's going to have to just through momentum force its way through that north-north magnetic field of the fighting against the core being north down here and north here. But let's say you split the cores and you wind this core down here opposite direction of winds, that'll make a south here that this is going to react to when it comes. And guess what? South against north is a free attraction pole. Whew. See that? So it's going to glide right into its next position here. And the same will be working on the other side. So it's called regaging. You're changing the polarity of that other half of the core so that you have a free attraction stroke over here. So that is my brilliant idea. Okay, that's how I'm going to do the cores and the coils. I've already got a bunch of cores cut. I got some from a place called Micro Metals. So just to continue here, so this goes on here, this goes on here, and that's going to hold it together. And then later on I'll put like a screw in here and a screw in here to lock this rotor in with the other rotor. And if I want to adjust the offset, I can like drill new holes and put new screws in. So here's the frame I built out of starboard plastic, and then this is wood though. It's an old cutting board, really good wood. And that's what this is too, from an old cutting board. And so this goes in between here with the 8 coils that are going to be there. So look how nice it spins. So I think this is going to be pretty good. And if this doesn't work out, I'll just put in regular cores in there. Here's the cores I got. Got a whole bag full of these. They're longer than I wanted. They're from Micro Metals. It's like powdered stuff. They aren't high frequency ferrite. They're made for lower frequencies. And with a cutoff saw, I cut a whole bunch of them in two. So the core is going to be something like this, right there. And I got 90 of these. So there's that. A little bit extra information. This is pretty cool. Norman Wooten, long time ago, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe more, he took a rotovertor motor and he used a Kohl-Morgen, it's a German PMI servo disc motor. And this is what's inside of them, if anybody's wondering. And it's pretty cool in that these are not only the commutators, but also the coils. And so you have a couple, like if this is a carbon brush, you know, and one over here and one over here, it completes the circuit. It not only makes contact, but it also, the coil energizes, kind of embedded coils. Pretty crazy. And so Kohl-Morgen, also PMI servo disc motors. Norman actually sent me some when he closed his lab down. I put one on a bicycle and I ruined a lot of them trying to do something dumb with them. But anyways, so he got over unity with the rotovertor spinning one of this. He stepped up with belts, so this was flying around 14,000 RPM. And it like hit some high speed mode where it just stopped having lens law. Although this did start to get hot. But, so that's interesting. Just thought I'd throw that in. Something else. So I don't know what else to talk about. I cut my finger really bad. Did I say that already? With one of these knives. Like really deep cut right in the tip of my finger right here. Went back about an inch. So I have it all bandaged up and I'm wearing this glove just to make sure no dirt gets in there. So I think this is going to be pretty good. And like I said, if this experimental cores don't work, I'll just throw some other ones in there. Maybe even air cores. I have ferrite cores, these cores here, made micrometals. Here's the tag of them. If this works out, people want to know what I was using. This is micrometals. You can look them up on the internet, and this is the lot number of this stuff. I also have these in 1/2 inch round and also 1 inch round, and I used all the 1 inch ones up making some Rene battery chargers a few years ago. Big heavy duty Rene chargers. So I guess that's it. Here it is. Again, I keep saying this, but I have one here, one in the middle on the other side, one here, one on the middle on the other side. It's going to make a nice AC. And maybe this re-gauging thing is going to work out and it's going to really draw hardly anything. So I guess that's it. Now I'm going to mow this lawn. here. And here's the workshop. Here's the mess I made. Okay, thanks for watching.